Okay, I'm Elizabeth O'Shea, I'm from Dublin, and I moved down here initially as part of the Eco-Village. It started 4 years ago, and it was actually the idea of the acting arts officer of the time, Martina Finn, who also happened to be an Eco-Village member, and she brought together a group of new people and old people, native people from Cloughshordan, to talk about it, and we managed to decide to have a festival. And one of the goals of it was to bring together old people and new people and mix them. And that would still be a very important part of what the festival is. And it does help. It does help. And certainly at the festival this year you could really see at some events in particular a mix, so that you wouldn't have been able to tell who was who. There's music, there's workshops, there's a number of things for kids, such as the children's art competition, and we ran a kids table quiz this year, which was quite successful and lots of fun. Sarah Baker was doing cookery courses, and Thomas Woolen was doing pottery. And Classic Cloughshordan is probably the big event of it, which is the Cloughshordan Community Choir and guest musicians, which is on the Friday of the festival. We did nearly 70 events this year. It was our first year. Suzanne O'Brien and Shay Hannon came up with the idea and ran with it and did an amazing job. And it was the first year of it, and there were 40 students. Summer School of Traditional Music, huge success, and there were there were sessions every night as well during the festival, kind of built on the back of that. There were all local people doing the presentations, and the one person that we had come in from outside was recommended by somebody locally. We have a fairly large network in that we can. Well, first of all, it helps attract people to the workshops and different things, because people might go along because they know the person doing it. But it also helps build links with local people and hopefully get more work out of it, or build a profile. So, for example, for the Kung Fu workshop, 3 kids came down from Roscrea for that. So here's hoping that because they enjoyed it, they might consider coming to Cloughshordan for Patrick's Kung Fu workshops in the autumn. And certainly Leanne Callahan, who does the Saturday workshops on the Green, she's been doing workshops now for 4 years, and she's got work on the back of the work that she's done for us. So for example, this year she's at the Kilkenny Arts Festival. She did 2 workshops that she's done for us previously. Thomas MacDonagh was one of the signatories of the 1916 proclamation, and he was executed by the British. He was also a school teacher, and he taught with Pádraig Pearse, and he was a poet.
Okay.
And he's from Cloughshordan. It's going to be across the road there there's a house across the road that's associated with the MacDonagh family. And it's going to be in there. It's called the MacDonagh Cultural Centre. The library is moving in there, which is great because the library is going to get bigger. It's going to be 100 square metres. There's going to be a gallery there, and then there's going to be the MacDonagh Museum, which will be a museum of local heritage, covering MacDonagh, but also covering Cloughshordan and the wider area in general. In particular, the organisation got together to fulfil some of the goals of the Integrated Development Plan for Cloughshordan. They've done a number of things. Some of the things, small things, are things like looking after the Christmas lights and the Christmas decorations. The very substantial things are things like building the creche, and getting the MacDonagh Centre developed, and developing the walks in Knocknacree, and being the sponsor for the festival. The festival committee is a constituent group of the Development Association. We're very concerned about the fact that the village was dying. Ever since the train stopped running regularly and the market stopped, and then the N7 was built and the main road shifted, the town has been slowly dying, and people haven't been staying and people haven't been moving here. And I mean, it's even still, it's very difficult to get people from outside of Cloughjordan to come to Cloughjordan because they don't have a reason to. And part of what the Development Association is doing is giving people a reason. But, you know, it would have been people in the Development Association in particular who looked at the eco-village and met people from the eco-village and said, this could actually be good for Cloughjordan because it will help us be a functional village. It will help us keep our schools open because there will be more children. And it will help us keep our businesses open because there will actually be customers. So we're going to be developing more tourism with a focus on sustainable tourism, and Leader and Shannon Development are in the right place for this as well. You know, there's no point in building 5-star hotels and golf courses because they take a lot of work to maintain and a lot of money to keep full. So that sort of smaller sustainable tourism that doesn't have as much impact, but brings people to the area and maybe keeps them in the area. So we've got the walks in Knocknacree. The walks group of the Development Association is involved in a longer term plan that involves a loop walk that actually goes up through Sopwell and the bog and comes back down, and that would be fantastic because you'll be able to actually, ideally you'll be able to walk through from Main Street, through the eco-village, up over Knocknacree, down through Sopwell and the bog and come back. So that's a wonderful resource for local people, it's a wonderful resource for tourism. Obviously the McDonagh Museum, the Bakers are developing Cloughjordan House and using that for facilities. So we've got a lot of good facilities that are either already here, like all of our church halls, or being developed. Music is developing not only through the Summer School of Music, but we're actually trying to develop a concert program so that maybe we have 5 or 6 different concerts a year that again would hopefully bring people to the village, as well as allowing us the luxury of not having to travel for our entertainment. Effective development that's low impact and maintains the character of the village as it is, because that's something local people don't want to lose, and it's one of the things that made the place so attractive for eco-villagers coming in. And Cloughjordan is a village of very strong communities anyway, so there's this other strong community of the eco-village coming in on top of it. And you know, over the next 10 years, as they continue to mix, you know, it will only strengthen things.